Hi everyone, it's Benza here. Sorry for not making any videos lately. My last few months were a bit busy. Mostly work-related stuff, but of course I am slowly learning the Unreal Engine. Just like when I started Unity, I completed a game developer course here in Hungary, but this time for Unreal Engine, and I even made a VR project for a friend of mine. As I mentioned in my previous video, I am working on a new video format. It is coming together nicely, but the script is more than 40 minutes long, and I am only done with about 1/3 of the editing. Whenever someone asks how to start game development, one of the first things I say is to join some game jams. Game jams usually give you a theme, which serves as a nice restriction, and restrictions help increase creativity, and they also have a deadline, so you will have a strong motivator. Also, you have to finish your game, or at least make something playable, so the game jam really has it all. And if you join more, you learn faster. There was a very successful game jam series called One Game a Month between 2012 and 2018. In 2019, a Hungarian developer started the Hungarian equivalent of this jam called HEJ, which literally means one game a month in Hungarian, or HEJ for short. When I started game development in 2020, I mostly made games for this game jam series. In 2021, I only made a few games for the jam, and in 2022 I made none, and as far as I know, in 2023 the series was on live support. In this year, which is 2024, the series was restarted and restructured, and I figured that participating would help me improve my Unreal Engine skills. And I immediately failed. In the 2024 version of HEJ, there are 3 main themes for each month, and you have to choose at least one, but you can combine more. There's also an extra theme which you can include if you want. For January, the main themes were Winter, Mickey Mouse, because of the original cartoon entering the public domain, and the new game, new character, and the extra theme was roguelike or roguelite. First, I wanted to make a simple game where you control a snowball and you move around the map, you collect the snow and the ball gets bigger and bigger, and once you cross a place from where you have collected the snow before, you die. Would have been a simple first game, but later I spent a weekend hiking in the Bakony region of Hungary and I got a more complex and more interesting game idea. You are lost in a cold, snowy forest and need to stay alive by eating mushrooms. The only problem was that I only had time to work on the game a few days before the deadline. And I really wanted to make a third-person game because I wanted to include the new game, new character theme as well. The easiest way to get a new character is to generate a new one, which was very easy with the Cinti Modular Fantasy Hero Pack, and in Unreal, randomly generating a forest is also easy using the PCG, so theoretically I could have also fulfilled the roguelike theme. And I struggled for an hour to import a simple Mixamo animation into Unreal without any visible results and realized that there is no way I will be ready for the deadline. I had two options. I alter my game idea or my scope and stay with Unreal, or I use Unity. And even though I specifically joined the Game Jam series to improve my Unreal skills, I liked the game idea so much that I decided to do it in Unity. Hopefully, the first and last time for HEJ 2024. Why build easily expandable and customizable systems? The game I made for the January installment of HEJ 2024 illustrates it perfectly. As I explained before, my game idea was simple. You are in a winter forest, it is cold, and your only way to survive is to eat the mushrooms. Some are poisonous, as some restores your health. That's it. However, additional features matter, presentation matters, and development time also matters. And I could not have made a game as detailed and feature-rich as The Great Escape in the amount of time I had in any game engine other than Unity, because I had the knowledge of the engine, and most importantly, I had the different gameplay systems. The most obvious was my State Machine character controller, which I have been developing on and off for more than a year now. I also have a demo of it on itch.io. I downloaded the latest Unity version, 2023.2.8, created a new HDRP project, imported my character controller system, and had a working character in about an hour. I could also use the health system I previously made for the character controller. Implementing that was another 5 to 10 minutes, and I had a system with which the weather and the mushrooms can interact. I had also created an interaction system for the character controller previously, so implementing the mushroom pickup object was again very easy. I had every main system I needed for my game set up and ready to go in less than 2 hours. Why is this important? Because by covering the basics in a short amount of time, you will have more time to improve gameplay and visuals. My first gameplay improving idea was the storage of the different mushrooms. If you come across a healing mushroom but you are on full health, eating it is a waste. But if you could store it somehow for later. In the beginning of 2023, I completed a few courses from gamedev.tv that focused on creating different RPG systems in Unity. One of these was an inventory system. When I started creating my RPG game in 2023, you know, the one I stopped working on after Unity introduced that runtime fee, I created a custom inventory system that was heavily based on the gamedev.tv inventory. So I imported this system as well, and now I could collect the mushrooms and consume them later. The mushroom effects were a bit more tricky. My original plan was to have 8 to 10 mushrooms with different effects, and the player needs to learn which is safe to eat throughout multiple playthroughs. But having 8 to 10 mushrooms that heal or damage for a different fixed amount is boring, and I had the idea to create mushrooms that have damage over time and heal over time effects as well, and these effects should be able to be combined with the instant effects, and what is more, create the possibility to have mushrooms with an instant healing effect only to apply damage over time later. I think this was the first serious script I had to write for this game. Not a basic necessity, but an extra feature that increases tactical play. Next, I needed to write a script that manages multiple damage over time and heal over time effects simultaneously. Another interesting feature I made was the ability to summon beacons. These huge pillars of light can be created in exchange for a huge amount of health, but they remain active in later playthroughs, so they can help in orientation, and they can also provide a single instant heal. Thanks to the State Machine character controller, adding animations for summoning and consuming a beacon was very easy. Randomizing the character model was very easy, since the asset pack comes with a randomizer script that required only minor adjustments on my part. Randomizing the map was much more difficult, however, so in the end I decided to create a single large map with multiple spawn points and randomly generated mushrooms. Only the win condition remained. First, I wanted to add a timer and a high scoreboard, so the only goal of the game was to survive as long as possible. However, I later created a small story for the game, and stories usually have an end, so I needed something more tangible. The idea I settled with was a teleporter pad on the side of the map opposite to the player's spawn locations, and by reaching the pad, the player escapes the forest. The last thing that remained was to improve the visuals, which was very easy thanks to the tons of assets I have purchased on the Unity Asset Store before. I also had time to implement my interactive foliage shader, which I showcased on this channel. I do not say making this game was a cakewalk, but it really shows the importance of flexible and easily expandable systems. Even though I have years of Unity experience, it would still not be possible for me to create this game in the short amount of time I had, because I simply would not have had enough time to code everything. There is one more topic I need to address, the question of Unity and Unreal. I have posted my last video on the 19th of September 2023. In that video I said that I will be using Unreal for the next half to 1 year, see how I like Unreal and closely follow how the Unity situation evolves. 4.5 months have passed between the upload of that video and the creation of The Great Escape, which is less than half a year but not significantly. Opening Unity after such a long time was a joy. Seeing the familiar interface, using the familiar coding language was very good. The newest Unity version also had some nice UI improvements, The HDRP water and light probe volume systems are welcome additions. I have tested both systems in previous beta versions and I really liked both, even back then. Unfortunately, this is where the positives end. Code compilation was especially slow in this new version. I had to wait long minutes after changing only one variable, and in some cases I had to recompile the code multiple times because the changes I made in the code were not reflected inside the editor. Light baking with the probe volume system was not working. Every single time I tried it, Unity crashed. This might be because of driver issues or my laptop getting older, but it is a fact that light probe volumes worked for me in beta Unity versions, so not being able to use them in a real project felt a bit sad. And last but not least, after using Unreal for several months, Unity, it just feels bare bones. Unreal has so many quality of life features. You can paint foliage on every static mesh, you can paint multiple meshes at the same time, while in Unity I had to paint one foliage type at a time. In Unreal you can scatter interactable objects on the map with the PCG system, while in Unity I had to scatter the mushroom spawners on the map by hand. In Unreal you can create sound cues, which can randomly select sounds from a list, randomly change the volume, pitch and whatnot, while in Unity I needed to manually create a random sound selector for the step sounds. Sure, you can code all these functions in Unity. I myself have created a rather complex foliage spawner and terrain painter tool when I was working as a professional game developer, but that system was made in an old version of Unity, used the built-in render pipeline, it required custom shaders and a detailed texture preparation method, which was done by our technical artist, so even though I have this system, I had no realistic chance to use it without spending a lot of time on it, so I painted the trees and grass by hand. I also downloaded a free prefab painter tool from the asset store in order to not get mad from manually placing the mushroom spawners. Problem solved, right? That depends on how you look at it. There are tons of great tools out there for Unity, very robust and versatile tools. But these tools usually cost money on the asset store, need to be maintained by the creators, and they usually have more features than what the average developer needs. Unreal also has third-party tools on its marketplace, but these seem to be more specialized because the basic quality of life features, such as being able to spawn objects or randomly select a sound from a list, are already included in the engine, and these were the things that I really missed from Unity after using Unreal for 4 months. So, I will continue my original plan. I will be learning Unreal and I will try to make my next Game Jam game with it. I also hope that I will be able to finish my new video soon, because I am excited to share it with you. As usual, there is a link to the Great Escape down below, as well as to the HEJ YouTube channel. The contents on this channel are unfortunately in Hungarian, but you can have a look at the games that were made for January. Some of them are really good. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you want to see more, give it a like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye!